wash away the pain. There's a new day to take away.
Good morning, happy Tuesday, and welcome to the vlog. We're gonna do another almost week in my life. I didn't film yesterday just because I had finished a vlog on Sunday, and it's nice to have a day where I don't film anything, and also I didn't really do anything. I did work at home. It was really pretty and nice out, and in the evening we literally just watched a documentary and made leftovers. So, oh my god, there's so many people out walking. It's crazy because it's so foggy. It's a new week. I am proud of myself because I have worked out Monday and Tuesday in the morning, and I am going to hit all 5 days this week. I really want to prioritize actually solidifying my routine in the mornings this month, and also I need to develop a night routine. I'm much worse at the night routine, so we're going to try to work on that this week a little bit. But for today, it's Tuesday, it's foggy out. I do feel very cute though. Sorry, there was a squirrel that was trying to run in the road. I feel very pretty and cute today. I love when my hair is clean. I washed it this morning, braided it. I'm wearing these new pants I got this weekend, and yeah, I'm excited to go to the office. I feel like I'm gonna be really productive. It's gonna be a good day. Let me think. There really isn't much this week. We do have some things coming up this weekend that are very local to where I live, so you'll see that at the end of this vlog probably. But yeah, I'm excited for the week. It's nice to just have a normal, calm week because we do have a lot going on in February. So it's going to be a month of very fun videos. And I'm proud of myself because I'm actually coming into my own in terms of vlogging, and I feel like I'm really back in the routine of vlogging. I think teaching was really hard for me to even regulate just my life, let alone vlogging. So I'm happy that I'm in this place where I can just vlog and not feel stressed and not, feel overwhelmed by life. So yes, it's really nice. I have my coffee that I made with our little cat cup. Love this cup, use it once a week. Maybe I'll do a coffee routine at some point in this vlog. That'd be nice. Maybe I'll show you what I do. But also Rob makes my coffee a lot because he's the best. So I'll have to let him chill. Also, I've realized that I'm just kind of rambling now because I haven't talked in a couple days to you guys. I'm really liking the lens I bought, and on the phone, because I'm using my phone right now, I should be using this cinematic lens. So that's what I'm using now, and hopefully you like it. But yeah, I am going to try to vlog at the office a little more today than normal because there's less people there. Only half people are there because the other half are at home. I was at home yesterday. And I think it'll be a good day. So we're going to get ourselves to work, and then I'll check in there.
And the old ways get washed out by the rain. Darling, you've got to.
Okay, friends, it's now nighttime. I got home and Rob had cooked for us already, so I didn't film any dinner because we literally ate the second I walked in the door. It was so nice of him to do that. And then we watched a little TV, and now we're kind of doing our own things. I am about to edit some of the last vlog you saw, and I'm going to watch The Bachelor while I do that on my little desk. Definitely a cozy night. I feel like this is usually how our nights go, but I wanted to show you my February spreads for the journal that I have. So this is a reminder of the planner I'm using. I feel like I'm going to show this to you every month because it's fun for me to do and I'm having a good time with it. So to wrap up January, this is what the January spreads looked like. Also, I apologize if you hear noise in the background. The Roomba is on. But love this. For the goals, I had book 1 to 2 sessions, meet or message new photographers, and then 2 videos. I did hit 2 videos. I did message some photographers. It didn't go as well as I wanted to, but that's okay. We're going to keep trying. And I have not booked any photography sessions this month. I'm close to booking one wedding for the fall, so I'm hopeful that will happen. And I just need to have grace. This is not my full-time job, it's a side gig. So, yes. Here is what the calendar spread ended up looking like. I use this as like a little journal of what I did that day. This is what the habit and mood tracker ended up looking like. So I did pretty well with most of these. The one I didn't do well with was vlogging, but that's okay. But I'm proud of myself. And then as far as the mood tracker, I had a pretty good January. January is always long for everybody, but not too many bad days. Pretty good, pretty good. And then I ended up making this little like photo collage for the month. So I just used the pictures that I posted as my like January photo dump on Instagram. So you can always follow me there if you'd like. And you could see them. Each week I wrote like a to-do list. And then in this little notes page, or this notes box for each week, I would go back and write like my favorite thing I did that week, because I don't really use this as like, I don't really need to write down a million things in the day. I'm just writing down little things I want to get done or little things I know I have to do. So I filled all those out. In the beginning of the journal, there is this page for best moment of the month. So for January, I just went through and looked at what my favorite moments were for each week and picked one. That was my most favorite. Now we're into February, and I'm going to show you my February spreads. So it's a little flower theme this month, and it says, all the flowers of tomorrow are in the seeds of today. Also, wow, that really just gave me flashbacks to doing read alouds. Anyway, so I really like that. I decided to go with like a purple and pink and red theme because it's Valentine's month. For my goals, I wrote I want to read 4 books. I want to post 3 videos, and I want to really try to solidify my routine. I talked about that a little bit this morning. I think I'm doing really well with the morning routine, but the night routine, not great. So I'm hoping that I can try to get that together. The other side of this page just says February with some more flowers. It's now also February 11th, so I'm already almost halfway through the month, but the calendar is really pretty. It just has flowers all around and these little like scalloped edges that are really nice. And so far, we've been having a pretty good month. I'm excited to see how this plays out. And then I've pretty much have the same habits. I changed the like daily games, which is like the Wordle and my Duolingo lesson, because I pretty much do that, to skincare, because I have not been doing that. So I want to track that a little bit more. But here is the habit tracker and the mood tracker. All the habits are the same except for skincare, and I'm still not doing great. And then the moods are all these just flowers to color in. Like I said, it's been a pretty good month so far, so not too many down days. And the habits are going pretty good so far. I would say skincare is the one I need to work on, and maybe working out, which I think is going to be good. And then there's these blank pages, which I really like the idea of doing a little monthly collage, so that'll get filled in later. This is what the spreads look like. I'll go over my favorite things each week, maybe a vlog from the next month. But that's what they look like. Very cute. I'm really loving this. I think I said at some point in the past when I talked about this that I tried to use this journal when I was a teacher, and I just like had no motivation to use it. And I think that just like not teaching and having like a real work-life balance has made me want to have more hobbies like this. So just having a good old time. So I'm going to sit here, watch The Bachelor, and edit my video. And yeah, maybe I'll check in before I go to bed and show you my newest little sweet treat that I've really been loving.
Holding on through the night, 'cause I promise you this. If you try to get some sleep, if you give up the fight, if only just for a bit, there's a new day to leave behind your troubles.
Good morning, happy Thursday. It is a work from home day in my nice cozy sweatshirt, and the birds are chirping outside. We got a little video on Rob's phone this morning of a bird at our new little bird feeder outside, and the cats were like so zoned in watching it. So they're outside looking for more birds, more creatures, having the time of their life. And I am here logging into work. We're gonna have a cozy little work day at home. And then later on today, Rob and I and my dad and some of his friends are gonna go to one of the NASCAR races that's happening this weekend. So that'll be fun tonight. So that's what the day is looking like. Cozy day and then a fun evening. So let's get fully logged in and started.
There's a new day, and it will set you free. There's a new day to get you.
Okay, so it's like halfway through the workday. I just heated up my lunch. Nice pasta. I'm about to join a meeting while I eat, and then I'm logging off early today because Rob and I are doing something fun tonight. So I'm going to do the last couple hours. I have 2 more hours, and then we're gonna go somewhere fun. So
Through your struggle.
okay, friends, this is me checking into the vlog. I didn't really tell you where we were going. I had my lunch at work, and then we got ready to go to one of the NASCAR races. Sorry, Rob opened the door. To one of the NASCAR races because I live in the Daytona Beach area. I grew up here, so my dad goes to these races every year, and there's multiple of them. So Rob and I are tagging along with my dad for one of these evening races. Tomorrow, Rob is gonna go again. I'm not because I'm working, but then we're gonna go again this weekend. And so...
Sorry, do you want one of these?
Sure, thank you. But Rob's going again this weekend, or I'm going again this weekend too. But anyway, that's where we are. We literally got to like where he parks and stuff, and then it just started pouring. So I'm hanging out in the car. There's Rob.
Ways. Think of you and me. Darling, you've got to keep holding on through the night, 'cause I promise you this: if you try to get some sleep.
Good morning. Happy Friday. It is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Rob and I kind of celebrated already last weekend when we went to the beach. So today we're not really celebrating. He's going back to the races with my dad. And I am just gonna have a nice little relaxing night at home. I wanted to come on here because, you know, last time you saw me, we were waiting out the rain. And the race was very fun. It was nice to like spend time with my dad and like his friends. He's been going to like the same spot to hang out and with the same people for years, and so he was so excited to introduce us to them. They were all really nice, and we had a good time. It was very late though when we got home. It was like past 11 by the time we got home, so I am a little sleepy. I did not wake up and work out today because I knew I needed to sleep a little longer, just because I was out so late. I'm usually in bed by like 9:30. So now we're on our way to work. It's Friday though. It's gonna be a good day. There's a food truck today. They usually have food trucks most Fridays, if not every Friday. So I'm going to get food from the food truck at lunch because I did not have the energy to pack a lunch last night. And it's gonna be a good day. I wanted to talk when we get home later tonight about teaching a little bit. So I think that's probably gonna be part of the title of this video. I'm not a teacher anymore. I left teaching in May of 2024. So I kind of wanted to, I'm pretty removed from it now, or removed enough to like talk about it without having like a visceral reaction. So I'd love to just kind of do my little teaching story tonight at the end of this vlog. And that way, if you're not interested, you can bow out before. But yeah, I think it's time to share. I was going to do like a whole sit down video about it, but I think I could just like get it out, or at least the main points, and then I could just freely talk about it when I have thoughts in the future. So yes, that's going to be my plan tonight. We're going to chat about teaching a little bit, but for now, it's Valentine's Day. I'm wearing a little pink t-shirt. I don't own a lot of like work appropriate pink and red clothing. I have like really cute summer tops, but it's 64 degrees and they're not for work. So I'm wearing this like pink t-shirt, my white sweater. I have my little pink coffee cup today, my pink straw, my red nails, and my pink earrings. So I'm headed to work. I'm very excited because I am very happy I am not teaching on Valentine's Day, because that is a doozy. Almost worse, if not worse, than Halloween. So any teachers out there, I hope you survived Valentine's Day, and I'm sure it wasn't too bad. Luckily, it's on a Friday this year. But okay, I will see you after work. I'll do a little vlogging through the day, and we'll chat about teaching.
If you give up the fight, if only just for a...
Okay, friends, it is the end of the day. I did a little bit of vlogging at work, and I did get some food truck lunch, which was yummy. I wanted to kind of end this vlog with a little chit chat about why I love teaching. I'm gonna do like the quickest version of this I can. It's a little lengthy, so apologies. Let's get into why I left teaching. I decided I wanted to be a teacher when I was 5 years old, and I went into kindergarten and I thought this is the most amazing place ever. I loved my kindergarten teacher, loved the whole vibe. And I was absolutely that kid that loved school supply shopping, loved school so much. I did end up, going through public school always wanting to teach. I never had another thought in my mind. And then when I went to college, I obviously became an elementary ed major because I knew I always wanted to teach elementary school. So I went through college. I got a bachelor's in elementary education and a master's in elementary education, both from the University of Florida. And I was so excited. I met like lifelong friends there. Everybody I met there was so excited to be teachers. I felt like the university prepared me as much as they could. And when I was in my bachelor program, we would go shadow teachers for a couple hours a week, and it would grow as we went. So like the very first semester was not very much, but by the end of the senior year, you were shadowing teachers for a good amount of time every week. And then the master's year, so my program was 5 years, so the 5th year, I was a full-time intern in a kindergarten / first grade unit of a very unique school. And I was there every single day from first day of school, actually the pre-planning time, until the end of my spring semester of grad year, so like the end of April. So most of that school year. And I had a really great experience in college. Cannot say a bad thing. I did have, the normal pressures of college and annoyances, but all in all, it was a really great time, and I would relive it any day. Also, I met Rob in college and my best friends, so it all worked out. I graduated from college with my master's in May of 2019. Right around that time, I was trying to find a job in the town that I went to college in because Rob was still not done with college. He still had another year, and we were together by that point. So I got a job sometime, I don't exactly remember when, before the next school year at an elementary school in that town that I had never been to. Got hired, started working as a kindergarten teacher. I started my very first teaching job as a kindergarten teacher, which is what my dream was. And I loved it. I loved that school. I loved those kids. I loved teaching. That whole experience there, like 95% of it was positive. There were little things here and there, just like there is with every job. But remember, this was August 2019. This is pre-COVID, like a lot of mess. And so it was a really great experience. I felt really positive as a teacher, and my team was pretty welcoming to me. They were all like older women. I was definitely much younger than most of them. And they were willing to help me. There was other younger teachers at the school that were brand new as well. And it was a really good place for me to start my career and build confidence as a teacher and just enjoy teaching as much as I could. So obviously fast forward, March 2020, the pandemic happens and the world shuts down, including that school for the time being. I spent the end of that school year making packets for students that parents would pick up. I made videos of read alouds online, and that was just a weird time for sure. And also in that time, Rob finished college and we decided to move to Atlanta. So I started applying to jobs. Atlanta is a very big place, and I did not know anything about how to get a job there. So I just applied to a bunch of counties, because when you're a teacher in the public school system, you apply to the county most likely. And maybe jobs within the county, but you're technically an employee of the county. So Atlanta has 4 or 5 counties that are in it and around it. So I was just applying to all of them. And I had a couple Zoom interviews. I didn't really know anything about Atlanta. I didn't know how far anything was, all of it. But I got hired through Zoom out of school. And when we moved there, I asked that principal if I could come and drop all my stuff off. I realized that the school is like 40 minutes from where I'm living, but it is what it is. I've already got a job. So I started teaching there in August of 2020. And again, the world is still kind of shut down. The vaccines haven't come out. It's still a very crazy time. You know, we're wearing masks during pre-planning. The county decides we're going to start the year virtually. So everyone was online. And I got hired at this school as a first grade teacher. So I was still in the little kid area, but I wasn't in kindergarten anymore. And I was still super excited. My teammates that I met were all wonderful. They were so sweet, so welcoming. I loved that team so much. And it was weird because we were all kind of separated. Like, we couldn't stand near each other. We had the masks, a whole thing, right? So we all start teaching online, first grade, and within I want to say 2 months, the county decides, because parent feedback, they wanted their kids back in school, that they were going to have half the teachers in person, half the teachers online. And like you guys found out in my last vlog, I have a heart condition, and I did not want to know what COVID was going to do to my body if I got it. So I said, I am not teaching in person. I can bring a doctor's note, all the things. So they let me teach virtually. I was one of the virtual teachers. And all of this is documented, kind of. All of this time of me teaching, pretty much starting with the pandemic, is on this channel. So if you really wanted to go and explore that, you can. I did make a really big classroom setup series all the years I did first grade, including this year. So you can always go look at that if you really want to see how excited I still was to be teaching. So I taught virtually that entire school year. And what was the most annoying about that is, one, it was just hard to teach online, but also that county required us to go to the classroom to teach online. So I still had to drive the 40 minutes every day to go sit in a classroom by myself and teach to a computer, teach to a laptop. And it was really weird. Like I said, was still like a baby teacher in my mind, and I didn't really know what the heck I was doing. But we made it through. I felt good about what I was doing. It was such a weird time. They didn't really monitor much of what we were doing. It was very much a survival year. Get to the end of year 2. I've now taught in person once for 6 months, and now online for over a year. And towards the end of that school year, so this is spring 2021, my entire team, for different reasons, either got new jobs or left the profession altogether. And that kind of revealed itself slowly through the year that was what was going to happen. And I think all those people ended up where they wanted to be. So I was happy for all of them. But I was literally, out of 5 teachers, the only one left on the first grade team that wasn't planning on going anywhere, because I had had a good experience at this school so far. So I took it upon myself to go to that principal and say, hey, I know I'm a young teacher, but I'm realizing that you're in a position where no one is staying. And if it's easier for you, I will be the team lead. And if you don't know, in elementary schools and most public schools, the grade level, or even the subject, if you're in middle school or high school, there's a lead of that team that goes to extra meetings and relays information to that group of teachers, pretty much. And there's very little benefit to it. There's not really a pay bump, and if there is, it's really small, and it's just extra work. So I said to her, I'm open to doing that and learning from it, because everyone else is leaving, including the person that was leading the team. And she said, okay, let me think about it. But she kind of gave me hesitant vibes. And I was like, whatever, I'm just putting it out there. I'm trying to be a professional, excited teacher. She then tells me a couple weeks later, towards the very end of the school year, that I was going to be the lead. And I don't really remember much of how that conversation went, but now I'm the lead. So by this point in time, fall 2021, we're all vaccinated. It's all back in person. And I now am leading a team of teachers. And so because they had to rebuild my team, they ended up moving 2 teachers that were already at the school in different grades to first grade, and then hiring 2 teachers from the outside, and then me. I meet up with them, we start pre-planning. They're all super sweet. The 2 teachers that had come from inside the school, I hadn't really known. So it was nice to get to know them. And then the 2 teachers that they hired were also really sweet. It was a really wonderful team experience. Within the first couple months, or actually the first couple weeks, probably about a month into the school year, one of the teachers that was hired from the outside got surplus. That means that there was not enough kids in our school ratio, and so they had to remove a teacher from our school and move them to another school that had too many kids. And so that teacher got surplused, I think, on like week 4. So not only did that just suck for her in general, and that's just kind of something that no one really can control. So she had to move, and we, the other 4 of us, had to take in her kids. So the year started so chaotic, and it was still the weaning of COVID. So sometimes we would be virtual for a week because there was too many COVID cases in the school. It was kind of crazy. So that's how all of fall 21 went. This is my 3rd year teaching. And this is where the joy of teaching really started to end. Okay, so now I'm getting into the real nitty gritty. So towards the end of fall 2021, I, like every teacher, had pop-ins where administration, whether it be the principal or other people, pop in, walk around your room for a couple minutes, take note of what's going on, leave. And now, up until this point, I had never received negative feedback. I had never been told that I wasn't doing a good job. And teaching is an all-encompassing job. And when these people would come in, I would be doing something for my job, whether it was a makeup test with a student, I was filling folders, I was prepping things, whatever it is, I'm still working and monitoring the kids and doing whatever from my point of view. So through those, couple times, they, as an administration, gathered that I wasn't doing a good job. And they would send me feedback emails, but I did not realize how serious they were about the little things that they were nitpicking at the time, because like I said, no one had ever really done that. And so that is what it is. I need to be focusing on this more than this at that specific time of day. It was that kind of nitpicking. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing my best. I'm managing everything the best I can. Okay, so now we're in the beginning of 2022. January 2022. This is also around the time we bought our Georgia house. So there's vlogs about all this as well. We come back from winter break. I get a meeting invite that I have to be on a Teams meeting because it was still weird. We were doing only meetings online still, even though we were all in the same building. And I log into this meeting, and it's me, my principal, assistant principal, all the admin members, and that's it. And I was very caught off guard by that because I didn't know what this meeting was. And basically through this meeting, they told me they were going to put me on a professional plan because of all these little things they saw in the 2 or 3 times they walked in my room for 5 minutes. And that's all fine and good, kind of, because that's their prerogative. They're in charge of the school. They're allowed to, mold teachers the way they want to. I had the biggest issue with just being really caught off guard by how serious this was, because in their emails and such, to me, it felt like these were just little suggestions and not warnings, which is what it felt like in this meeting. So I get bombarded in this meeting, from my point of view, that I'm now going to be on a plan, and this plan basically meant that I was going to have to do 2 extra meetings a week with specific admin members to plan instruction, and I was going to be observed 2 times a week, never knowing when that was going to be, for 6 weeks. Just take that in, okay? So, I am a very emotional person, and I am immediately like, oh my God, I've done something so wrong, because that is what they were, telling me. And I just remember being like really caught off guard, like I said, and it was just a lot for me to take in. And that's a learning moment for sure, but it was a lot for me to take in. So I took it really seriously, and I honestly just felt like a really crappy teacher. And that made me feel like, honestly, like shit. And I hated that feeling. So I was constantly trying to, okay, let me be better about this. But really quickly on, I realized that this was all, I don't know, it felt to me like a game. Because pretty much immediately, the first week of this plan, I go to these meetings, I'm getting advice or teaching strategies of this instruction. A lot of it had to do with small group instruction, and it didn't really feel like these admin members were actually teaching me how to do anything. One of them was for reading, one of them was for math. The one for reading was just giving me strategies that are outdated and not the correct way to teach reading, and I know that, and I remember thinking, okay, if this is what you want me to do, I don't think that's going to work, but I'm already terrified to speak my mind because I feel like I'm just being attacked by all of you constantly. And then the math meeting, literally this admin member told me, we're going to take other team members' plans and copy them. So how is that teaching me anything other than making me feel like I'm wasting my time? So that's what I'm doing twice a week for 6 weeks, planning with these two people that I don't feel I'm benefiting anything from. But I, again, am a really non-confrontational person. I do feel like, okay, I'm only like, 25. These people are like, much older than me, been teaching. But again, I'm feeling some type of way about it, but I'm not going to say that because I'm professional. So I go to these meetings, whatever. Also, like they said to me, I was going to be observed twice a week. So I am on edge constantly. I can't breathe in my classroom. I feel like the second I'm doing something out of turn, that's when they're going to walk in the room and then they're going to fire me. Like that's literally the fear that was building in me every day. Not only did they not observe me twice a week, I think in those 6 weeks I got observed maybe 4 times. So I was just anxious all the time, and it really did a number on me mentally. So we get to the end of the 6 weeks, it's like sometime in the middle of March, and they tell me, oh, we didn't observe you enough, so we're going to do 6 more weeks. That's not my fault. And I am like, I felt like I was going to have this weight lifted off me, and it just felt like, nope, we're just going to stomp on you harder. And I know that that's exaggerated, like, and that's hyperbolic, but that's truly how I was feeling. Because on top of all of this, I've bought a house, I've moved into the house, I'm leading a team still who can see that I am like mentally suffering. I'm also trying to teach first graders and just like have a social life, be healthy, all the things. And I was just plummeting mentally, and poor Rob had to deal with that. But, whatever. So in those 6 weeks, again, I'm doing the meetings. I don't know how many times I got observed. Either way, none of it was exactly what they said, and I was still anxious all the time. We get to the end of that second 6 weeks. Now it's 12 weeks of me being on this plan, and I, because I'm naive, didn't even know, like, could they fire me? Like, all of that was just so stressful to me. And we just bought a house. I, needed a job. So at the end of the 12 weeks, no one calls a meeting with me. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's over. Love that closure. No one says anything. And there's still about a month of the school year left. So towards the end of the school year, again, no one said anything to me. I was told by an admin member who visited my classroom at the end of the school day that I would no longer be the lead next year and that another team member was going to become the lead. And that's fine. But I was, at that point, I was so fed up and so like, okay, I need to learn to stand up for myself, because if I'm going to be a teacher forever, like, I need to be an advocate, not only for the students, but for myself, because I'm not going to be able to survive like this. And so I was asking questions like, okay, well, leading a team is different than being being in my classroom, like, why was I doing something wrong in there? I'm trying to ask these questions, but also I'm a basket case. I had been holding that in for so long that I just like broke down. I was so pissed, to be honest, so pissed. And it stressed me out so much to be like, look, I'm trying to be professional, but I'm also like telling you that this put me through the ringer, and I also don't know why the heck this even happened. Because in my view, the little reasons that you pointed out to start me on this plan, every teacher does. Every teacher has moments where they're doing a makeup test. Every teacher, whatever. And so I just felt very much like targeted a little bit. Whatever. So I'm not the lead. I don't care. I also just felt bad for the person that was going to become the lead because they got told like an hour before I did. And there's like a week left of school. And so what are they going to say? No? Like they have to say yes. Anyway, my battery's flashing, so I need to be faster. So I was upset. I go home. Rob is pissed because he's like watched me live this. He's ready to go pack up my classroom, but this is like the end of the school year. I've already signed my contract again. It's just very hard to get out of your job, and the system really makes you fear quitting. So I wasn't brave enough to quit in that moment. So then I remember going the next day and talking to my principal because I wanted to hear it from her mouth why that was their decision. And so I went in and I spoke my mind about, I just was upset. I wanted to know when they made this decision, why this was a specific decision, and like what the point of all that was, because I was honest with her about how I was feeling and how I was mentally exhausted and just terrified to come to work, honestly, because I knew I would just be so anxious all day. And she was not very welcoming with her response. She made me feel like, yeah, I'm sorry that that's how you feel. And I'm not going to like say quotes or whatever, but I didn't get a good read from how she responded to that. It really made me feel like she did not care that I was suffering. So all that to say, the school year ends. I'm so excited for summer. And I just thought, okay, I'm just going to mentally heal from this over the summer. That's the summer I got engaged, which was wonderful. And I thought, wow, great, I'll have something to focus on next year, and I won't be teaching. So now here we are, fall 2022. We're going back to this school. This is now my 4th year teaching, 3rd year at this school. I go back, and granted, all the teachers on the team stayed the same people. And just now one of them was going to be the lead instead of me. And I loved them, and that person was really amazing and sweet to me. The other two were also amazing and sweet to me. Like, they never made me feel bad at all. So, we start the school year. I really quickly realize that I am so anxious still, every single day, every single minute. And that's not going to lend me to be a good teacher. And I'm also I don't trust these people. I don't want to be at this school. And admin members are everywhere. And it also felt through that whole experience that the entire admin team was on one page with that. And so I felt like I couldn't trust anyone besides like the teacher next to me and the other 2 first grade teachers. And it was just not healthy. So I decided to leave that school. I still wasn't ready to quit teaching yet because I loved the actual art of teaching. I loved hanging out with the kids. I loved having my one-on-one moments with them. And I wasn't ready to just jump ship yet. So I decided to tell the principal I was going to leave and try to find a job at a different school in Atlanta. I went and told her, I want to say it was like November or December. It was pretty early in the school year because usually contracts and stuff come out in the spring. So I went and told her, hey, I just want to let you know I decided I'm going to be leaving this school at the end of the school year. And also, I'm trying to be professional, give her plenty of time to hire somebody that she wants to hire, because clearly it's not me. And again, she was not very kind from my view. She told me, why are you going to leave? And I had to remind her of all the things I felt at the end of last school year and that I was still feeling it. And I remember saying, and that's for me to figure out, and that's not for anyone here to solve. And so I'm going to solve that by removing myself. And she just made me feel like it was going to be that way everywhere. And I just had to suck it up, get through that conversation. But at least everyone knew I was leaving. The rest of that school year literally is a blur. No clue. Just survived. Planned my wedding. Had my bachelorette trip. Had my bridal shower. I just got through it. So then also I applied to jobs in that springtime. And I applied to other counties because like I said, there was like 5 counties. But I only got interviews at the county I was already in. And so I ended up getting a job at a school that was closer to where I lived. And also when we moved and bought our house, I did move closer to the school. So I wasn't driving 40 minutes for 3 years, but this was a little closer. So I started this school. The team, for the most part, is really lovely to me, and I get hired for a 3rd grade reading and writing teacher. So I now have 2 classes, but I get like a block schedule. My partner teacher, who I switched classes with, was wonderful. My partner, who also taught reading and writing, wonderful. And then there was a 4th teacher who was our lead, and she was a really sweet person, but we were not like BFFs, and that's fine. And so I really went into this school year like, I'm doing the bare minimum. I'm not going to cause a ruckus. I'm going to do my best because I'm not trying to get this administration to also decide that I'm horrible. But also by this point, I was so not the person that I was when I started in Atlanta. Like, I was so jaded, still anxious all the time. And I just really was just like, this is not fun, because I know that this is all a game and it just sucks. Like, the education system needs to figure itself out in so many ways, but especially the treatment of teachers is horrid. And once I was seeing that I was being treated that way, it was very clear to me who else in that first school and in this new school were also being treated that way, and I just hated it. So the first semester, all good, whatever. I didn't love 3rd grade. It wasn't for me. I really loved the littler kids, but I did my best, and I liked only teaching half the subjects. I liked most of the people there. And for the first half of the year, the administration, they seemed chill. All good. Or good enough, where they didn't really bombard me, didn't micromanage me, and I felt like, okay, great, I'm at another school, I'm feeling valued. I felt happier. Still a little anxious all the time, but I felt like I was on an up. And then towards the end of the first semester, I was just like, let me really think about my life, because if I want to, because at this point I'm married. I got married the summer before. We're, thinking about life now, and I can't imagine feeling that exhausted, feeling that jaded, and being a parent. And I was like, okay, I think I need to start thinking about what do I want to do in the future. And also I was starting to build up photography. I was starting to think of other things and have joy outside of the classroom. So I decided with Rob that I was going to leave teaching, at least for now. At the time, I thought maybe I'll just take a break. So in January, I tell that principal. She's really kind about it. We have a great conversation, really sweet, all good. The week after that is when I started going to a lot of events for my sister-in-law, because she was getting married to my brother in March. So I had her bachelorette, her bridal shower, their wedding, and then I had a wisdom tooth surgery in the spring and a trip plan. I had 5 absences I had to take. And once I started putting those in the requests, I started getting observed all the time. And that was really triggering to me. And I had told that administration slowly a little bit about what I had experienced. Oh, my phone's ringing. So sorry, Rob called me, and I'm trying to remember where I was. I think it was that once I told them I was leaving, I started getting observed because I was putting in time off for the spring. And at that point, I was so are you joking? Why am I getting bombarded? And I mean bombarded, constant observation, emails about why I was asking off. It was crazy to me that I literally was like, it should not be like this. And I don't have any educators in my family that's close to me. And a lot of people, my mom, my parents, Rob's parents, whatever, and older siblings and stuff, they all have worked in outside of education. And just the way that this is so not normal to treat employees this way, I was just so livid by the time I left teaching. And so I get through that school year and I'm like, you know what, whatever, you can email me, you can be mad at me. I'm going to try not to make it fully plummet my mental health, because I know that this is ridiculous. I finished the school year, and you all saw this last summer, it was hard to get a job, but now I'm working at a university and I work with literally the sweetest women in the most chill environment. I literally cannot believe that I let myself be micromanaged and anxious for years. And I know that that was just a condensed, and it might not feel that way, it depends on how I edit it, condensed version of this story, but it was 5 years of my life. And the biggest thing I miss about teaching is the kids and actually teaching. And I know that I will fulfill that with having my own kids one day, but it was really hard to leave. I actually I filmed a video of myself talking to myself the night before my last day of teaching, and I was a disaster. So all this to say, it was very interesting to just relive all that right now, and I'm sure the photos and videos will be interesting in here, but if that video isn't too cringe, maybe I'll put a clip of it here now. Tomorrow is my last day as a teacher. I'm having a lot of feelings about it. I chose to leave, and I'm excited for the future. And I know that this is going to be good for me in the long run. I think it really all just hit me when I was trying to fall asleep. My teaching journey has been a lot mentally, and when I was talking to Rob about it tonight, I was telling him that I feel like I'm letting down my elementary self that wanted to always do this, but that's not true, because I did do it. And he reminded me that I'm not letting anybody down, but the job let me down, because it's not what I wanted it to be, not what I dreamed it would be. I was so focused on all the negative things that I was excited to be done with, that I'm really just now feeling the things I'm going to be sad about. And there's more that I'm not gonna miss, which is why I made this decision. It's really upsetting that my dream didn't work out. I'm proud of myself, and I know that the students I taught, I did the best I could for them in the reality of what I was dealing with at the time. So, okay, we're done with this. But yes, that is why I left teaching, and that is why only 5 years in, with 2 degrees, I will never go back. And the state of the world, in my opinion, for teachers is not getting any better. And that doesn't even include, all of my story doesn't even include the outside disrespect, scary feelings that happen because the world is a mess. All that didn't even affect why I left. Parents, some of them were crazy. Didn't even affect. They were fine. The students, some of them were wild. Didn't even affect. None of that was even close to just the mental health plummet that these people made me feel. Whether that was their intention or not, literally doesn't matter. That's how I felt, so I got myself out of there. And so if you're a teacher who's struggling in any way, it's better on the other side, but maybe that's just because of my situation. Because actually educating people is still my passion, and education is all I really care about in this world. And so, anyway, I'm just rambling at this point, but that's why I love teaching. And I'm hopeful that people don't have that experience. But anyway, I'm going to end the vlog here. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this. Love ya. Have a great day or night. Keep spreading positivity, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
There'll be new ways. This is not the end.